So Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, after over 20 years, has finally been re-released. But was it all worth it? Let's find out. Hi everyone, my name is Warwick and welcome to another review video. And it's been a while, I just haven't had time to do it. I work a full-time job and streaming, so it's just getting the time to do these things. But I'm glad to be back covering Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. They're classics from, I think the first one came out over 20 years ago. So it's been quite a while. And they've been re-released, and we're going to go check them out and see if they still hold up and what 2024 has brought to these games. So a bit about myself before we go any further. My name is Warwick, and I stream on Twitch, mainly twitch.tv/Warwick. You can find me there. Also, I make a lot of content here. Like or subscribe, we would appreciate it. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. So, like you see, this is the start. So we're going to go into Star Wars Battlefront 1, open it up. LucasArts, that old logo, brings back so many memories. So this will look very similar to everyone who's played Battlefront 1 before, to a point where it's literally like for like. Obviously in HD it's been like cleaned up and stuff, it's cleaner to look at, but you would notice straight away that things look very, very similar. We're looking at the game options and stuff, so you've got third person, you've got colorblind options, friendly fire, auto aim, sticky retinas, streamer mode, which is good to see, instant action heroes, difficulties, tooltips. I will say there wasn't any way to invert your controls. I couldn't see anything about inverting your controls. For me, I've grown up playing, I think they call it like flight mode, where like if you pull the joystick down, it goes up, you know, like a plane. And I play it like that. And from what I could see, I couldn't see any settings to change that, which is slightly frustrating because I think it's standard in most games. But anyway, we start with the first mission in Naboo, the Battle of Naboo. This is like your tutorial mission. I'll play a little bit of this. I don't want to get copyright struck by Disney or Star Wars, so you won't be hearing any of this music, but I'm sure you can hear it inside. Like you just see that text and you can hear it inside yourself. But it's really cool, I will say. Feel like you're in the movies, like you've got Star Wars. It comes up with saying Star Wars Battlefront, and there's a bit of text about what's going on. Sort of explains about the game and what level you're doing, and it's really, really cool. It's nice to see. When you get to that text, you get a bit of what's going on. So what you got to do, basically, you look at here, you can either destroy all the shields or destroy the whole fleet. And this is how these games are based, where it's basically you either get rid of all the respawns places or get rid of the fleet that are there. So basically, you go against another faction. It's like greens versus red, and you basically pick a area that you want to start. You pick your droids for this case anyway, and different weapons and abilities. And you go for what you want, and then you start the game. And then you go, you straight into it. So you start with first person. If you've checked that, you can change to third person by using the controls. There's me just checking now. You can change to third person, and there are different controls. I will say in the first game, it seems to be put it in second, but in the first game, there's no sprint. So you may be used to pressing down on the left joystick and realizing that it doesn't do what you want you to do. You've got a map, you've got an overlay, you've got various things going on there. And basically, it's as simple as that. So you go around and basically you try to defend your posts while attacking the enemy and getting rid of their shields and stuff. So there's a bit going on around me there. I wasn't sure what's going on. I was like, oh, okay, I'm just trying to get my bearings right, and got my co-droids, as it were, with me, just doing all the work for me, so appreciate it. Also, you can jump. I was practicing jumping as well. I was like, wee, I'm here. And also you can crouch and then you can crawl as well. So you're going around, you have to just defeat the enemies depending on what missions you're on, and there's different ways you can win. And I kept throwing bombs and trying to sort of do things and stuff. Obviously, I'm trying to get used to the not inverted controls, so it's taking a little bit longer for me. There is a slight, I'm playing on PlayStation 5 as well, but there's a slight auto target as well, so you control the wall slightly target, but you still have to sort of move it around. You've got map in the bottom, you've got your stats on the top left, you've got your health on the top right, you've got how many enemies are each, so you are in green, and then the enemy in red, and the same is left, and you basically don't want to fail, really. Obviously, you are used to the games. This looks exactly like the originals. Obviously, it's been spruced up. Frame rate is a lot better. You know, it looks a lot cleaner. But this is not a remaster or remake. This is almost a re-release. Like everything down to literally everything is exactly the same. Like there's been some quality of life brought up. Like there is haptic controls on the PlayStation 5 controller, which is quite cool to see. But game-wise, this will look exactly like the games that you remember. For better and for worse. You know, there is a lot of talk and discussions about remakes and remasters, like what class is a remake, like how much does it change? And it changes from the original game, the original purpose, but do you change too little and realize that actually was it worth re-releasing. I will say again, your feelings will differ from everyone else, and it depends on what you want. Like, you can get the original games out there at the moment, and I believe from recording, you can buy the two games separately, the non-collection, for cheaper than this collection. So it all depends on your worth in what you want. If you haven't played these games before, obviously it's worth checking it out, and you do get a better frame rate, you get a better sort of fluidity with it, but the game itself hasn't changed. They've done some extra bits, like I think they've got like a 64-player multiplayer map, which is new, so you'll be able to get more players together if there's 64 players playing at the same time. And there's a few other things they've added as well, but like I said, it does look good. It still holds up really well. It plays fantastic as well. Really, really fun to play. Obviously, there's some things in the first one which you grow up with games nowadays and you feel like, it doesn't feel like it's missing a lot, like the running and certain aspects. But what I will say is with the second one, Battlefront 2, they've done a lot more with it. So similar controls, similar settings as well. I still couldn't find any inverted controls. Very frustrating. They did have a subtitles for the movie, which was great. And you see controls there, very similar. But with this, they brought in the sprint button. You can't, for some reason, you can't change to third person in the controller. You have to go to the settings, but it does now mean you can sprint. So anyway, so I picked a mission on 2 and we go into it and stuff. And straight away, I loved 2. 2 was a lot of fun. 2 was a lot of fun. Like, it felt like everything they learned from the first game into the second one. It plays really well. Again, these games aren't remasters or remakes. They are basically re-releases, just cleaned up a little bit and some quality of life. So you have to make sure that's worth it for you or not. It did play really, really well. Obviously, I'm playing single player and stuff. It looks fun. There's a lot going on, but nothing seems to slow down in any way. It does seem more responsive than the first game and stuff. And again, there is a sprint button, which was very, very much wanted from the first one. So it's good to see that. And then what was great as well, because I didn't get the chance to do it in the first game for my playthrough, but you get to play as one of the hero characters. So I got to finally play as a Jedi, which is really, really cool. And it plays just as fun as you remember or dreamt about playing as a Jedi. So I'm just going around swinging things, just literally trying to think I'm invincible. I'm not invincible because I do die eventually, but for now, I think I'm invincible and just trying to destroy everything here. There's like a quadruple jump. There's a few extra special abilities you can do, like push away or like throw your lightsaber across. But yeah, a lot of fun playing with the lightsaber. And again, it still holds up really well. Like, they've cleaned up the game really well. It holds up really well. Like, there's a lot going on here. It depends on what you're wanting from this game. Like, it's not a remaster, it's not a remake. So you might look at it and go, well, these games are still available to buy, the originals. So why would I invest in this? And you've got to ask yourself that question, because this collection is more money than the 2 games original separately. And you got to think, okay, especially if you've already got it, if it's worth investing in this to get a slightly better quality of life. So like cleaned up visuals slightly, bigger multiplayer maps. And you got to think, is that worth it? And honestly, I can't answer that, For me, I've not got these games originally, so I'm glad able to play this and have an option to play it. And I think having this game on like Switch and all consoles does make it more available to everyone, which is good to see. Making games available to everyone is great, especially older games. There's been a sort of a trend. Older games don't get preserved as well as they should do, and they get lost to the media trash pile, as it were. You have to basically try to find other ways to play these games, and it's good to see older games even just getting a lick of paint being re-released to modern consoles so people can play it and experience these games that a lot of us did grow up with. And I had a lot of fun with it. 2 was a lot of fun. 1 was all right. Obviously, I did a tutorial and I did a little bit in it, and there's a lot more content. But 2 was a lot of fun. I will say multiplayer was not working at the time of my recording, but I believe it should be live when the game launches. But yeah, I had a good time with it. I just think you just need to think about, is it worth it? If it was a remake or a proper remaster, then there may be more for me to recommend, where with this as it is, it plays well, but it is still the same game, for better and for worse. So you got to think, is that worth it or not? But I hope you enjoyed this review video. Really appreciate it. I've got some more coming up hopefully soon, so please keep an eye out. I'm trying to hit YouTube partner, so any hours I get, I would really appreciate it. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and yeah, see you on Twitch or here or anywhere I may be lurking. But please take care. All the very best, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.